We begin today the Gemara, the last line on Daf Nun Beis Amid Beis, where it says, Nafal lefon of chulu. This is quoting from the Mishnah Amid Aleph. The Mishnah said, in a case where Nafal lefon of Mikoyel Akriya, there was a shard that's walking along in a Shus Rabim and there's a bar there. And inside the bar, there's a worker that's there to expand this bar. And he's banging away. And the banging startles this ox that's walking there. And as a result, the Mishnah says, the shar fell in. Nafal, lashon of the Mishnah was Nafal lefonov mikol akriya. Now, the lefonov means that the shar fell on its face, fell facing down. So in that case, the Mishnah says chayiv. The balabar is going to be chayiv. Then the Mishnah though says la'acharov. If the shar falls on its back, not on its face, then he's potter. The balabar is going to be potter for this. Okay, so there's two different details to focus on over here in understanding what the Mishnah says. One detail is the fact that the Mishnah makes a distinction between the position of how the shar fell, whether it fell on its face or fell on its back. Then there's another detail over here about the koyel akriya, that what caused the shar to fall into this bar was not just the fact that there was an open pit over here. It's the fact that there was someone that was banging inside the pit, and that caused the shar to fall in. Okay, so when we get to the second detail, the Gemara is going to discuss soon. But first, when we get to the first detail, the difference in the position of how the shar fell in, the Gemara here brings a machlokes in the pshat of the Mishnah. Omar Rav, so Rav explains, Lefonov means Lefonov mamish. When the Mishnah says Lefonov, it means like it sounds literally, that the shar fell face down, it fell on its face into the bar. And La'achrav, when it says that it fell on its back, it means La'achrav mamish, literally that it fell on its back. That's the distinction the Mishnah is making. And V'zeh b'bar, both of them are talking about when this shar fell into the bar here. So why should there be any distinction in the position of how the shar fell into the bar? Rav l'taimei is because Rav follows his reasoning that we learned before. Rav explains what's the main chiyuv of the bar. The Omar Rav bar shechayiv alav teira lahavloi v'loi l'chavatoi. The reason you chayiv for the damages that happen inside a bar is as a result of the fumes of the bad environment that there is inside a bar. That causes the shar that falls in not to be able to maneuver, position itself, and therefore when it falls, it hurts itself. And you're not chayiv for the impact, because the karka of the bar, that's there from before. That's karka reshus harabim. That the balabar is not chayiv for. So therefore over here, when the shar falls face down,
so was existing already?
Yeah. So when the shar falls face down, so there, the fumes went into its face, and it affected the shar, it startled the shar, and therefore it can't position itself, and it falls down, and it bangs itself, so we know that the hevel of the bar caused the damage, so you're chayiv. But when the shar falls down with its back going in, and it falls on its back, so that the hevel of the bar doesn't affect it at all. There was no, it fell in lachatchila on its back, and there was no hevel that affected it. It's just the bang, the impact on the ground that affected it. For that, you're going to be potter. That's the distinction that the Mishnah is making here. Shmuel Omar, however, Shmuel says, the pshat of the Mishnah is different. If the shar fell into the bar, so then it doesn't matter in what position it fell into the bar. Whether it fell on its face, whether it fell on its back, either way, it's going to be chayiv. There's no nafkamina because Shmuel l'taimei, Shmuel follows his reasoning. The Omar, Shmuel says lahavloi, the kol shekei l'chabotai. The fact that you chayiv for the damage of the shar inside a bar, so yeah, the hevel that causes that damage you chayiv for it, but you for sure, Shmuel holds on you are chayiv for the impact on the ground. The one that dug this bar is the one that uncovered and made this place here on the bottom where it got banged. So for sure you're chayiv for that. So either way, it fell and banged itself on the bottom of the bar, you're going to be chayiv. So now what did the Mishnah mean? When the Mishnah says there's a difference of lefonov and la'achrav, elahechidami la'acharav, mikoil hakriya, the potter, when it says here, in this case, when it fell into the bar because of the sound of the person that was digging here in the bar, and it says in the word Mishnah la'acharav, what does la'acharav mean? Kagoin de niskal bebar. The shar is walking along the bar, and then it stumbles upon this bar, but it doesn't fall inside the bar. It falls behind the bar, which means chutz lebar. It falls outside the bar. Because of this bar, and the person that's working inside the bar, the shar gets startled at it, but it didn't fall inside the bar. It fell outside the bar. In such a case, that's what the Mishnah is saying. The one that dug the boir is going to be potter. If it falls inside the boir and it gets injured or it dies inside the boir, that you're chayiv for. But if your boir just causes it to fall outside the boir, for that you're potter, because that is just a grama. You're not chayiv unless it fell inside the boir. That's Shmuel's pshat in the Mishnah. Okay, so the Gemara now brings a question on Rav's Shitta. Eisvei, the question was asked on this. In the Braise it says clearly, biboir, when the shor falls inside the boir, bein l'fanav, bein la'achrav, whether it fell face forward, face down, or it fell on its back, the position that it fell in doesn't make any difference. Chayiv, either way it's going to be chayiv. To yufta the Rav, so this clearly refutes what Rav said. So the Gemara answers, Amar Rav Chisde, the Gemara gives a few answers to explain this Braise according to Rav. First, Rav Chisde says, Rav will admit that there's going to be no distinction in the position that the shor fell into the boir b'reshusai. If this boir that you dug here is in the reshus of the bala boir, as we learned already before in the Masechta here, before the last few blot, there's two types of boirs. There's the boir in the reshus harabim, and there's the boir that you dig in your reshus. If you mafkir the area around it, so then you're going to be chayiv for the damages that happens for someone that falls into the boir. So here we're talking about a boir that is you own it. It's in your reshus. The chayiv, in such a case, no matter how the shor falls in, you're going to be responsible. Because over here, you can't make a difference between the hevel and the chabata. Mishum da'am alei mimanav shach. Either way, it's your responsibility. If it's the fumes of this boir, havla didachu. It's your havel because it's your boir here. And even if it's also the impact, that's why the shor that fell and died. Chabata didachu. The chabata is also yours. The whole thing that Rav said that you're not chayiv for the chabata is when it's karka olam, when it's in the reshus harabim, not when it's your boir. And that's what this Braise was talking about. Rava has another pshat in the Braise when it says that it doesn't matter the position that it fell in. The case over here is really there is a difference in the position that it falls in. Why does the Braise say that even if it fell on its back, you're still going to be chayiv? Because the case is b'mishapach. The animal, the way it fell in, it turned over midway when it was dropping, when it was falling into this boir. The nafal a'apeh. The animal stumbled upon the boir and then it fell face forward, the way usually someone falls. The animal here did go in with its face in. So therefore the fumes does affect it. And then this hapech v'nafal agabei. On its way down, it turned over and it ended up falling on its back. So the havle, the ahani bay, so the fumes that affected it in the beginning when it fell face down, ahani bay, it already had its effect on this shor that fell in. So even though in the end it actually fell on its back, but the moment it fell in lechatchila, face forward, so that fumes affects the shor negatively, that it can't position itself, and therefore it ends up falling on its back, and you're going to be chayiv. But if the shor lechatchila fell into the boir on its back and it had no chance to position itself, the fumes doesn't affect it because it fell in from the beginning on its back, then like Rav said, there will be a distinction. You will be potter. Rav Yosef says a third pshat in this Braise. When this Braise says there's no distinction how the shor falls into the boir, it's talking about a completely different thing. We're not talking about the damage of the shor. On the contrary, we're talking about the damage that the shor causes to the contents of the boir. And we're talking about the damages that happens to the contents of this boir through the shor falling into it. And mind you, what is this? We had this already before in the Gemara. Shehivish meimov. When the shor falls in and it causes the water to be ruined and spoiled. It gets a bad smell because of the shor that fell into this boir. So this is what this Braise was saying. The loishno lefanav, loishno la'achrav. It doesn't make a difference how the shor fell in, face forward or from its back. Either way, the damage that it causes to the water of the boir, the Baal HaShor will be chayiv. So that's obviously a completely different case that Rav will agree to. Huh? Yeah, we had this before. Yeah, when you went into the reshus of the Bala, the Nizik, yeah. Tani Rav Chananya learned in a Braise l'siyu el Rav, and a Braise that says like what Rav said clearly. The nofal, when it says in the Torah that a shor falls into the boir, achi yipoil derech nefila. Nofal means it falls in the way someone usually falls. How does it usually fall? Face forward. Mikan omru nofal lefonov. If it fell on its face, mikoil akriya, because of the sound of the one that's digging over there inside the boir, chayiv. So then you're going to be chayiv. La'acharov, if it falls on its back, mikoil akriya, because of the sound of the digging that there is in the boir, potter. Then you're going to be potter. and v'zev v'zev bar. Both of them are talking about when the shar did fall into the bar, but still there's a difference in the position that it falls into the bar, and the difference is, like Rav explained, because if it falls on its face, then it's getting affected negatively by the hevel, by the fumes. If it falls on its back, then it's not. It's only affected of the bar is the chabata, the bang on the ground. So therefore, you're going to be potter for that. Okay, that explains the distinction between lefanov and la'achrav. Now, as I mentioned, the Gemara comes back to explain over here what it said in the Mishnah. We're talking over here about a bar where the cause for the shur to fall into the bar was because there was a worker inside this bar that was banging, and that caused the shur to fall in. So, Amamar, the Mishnah said, what's the case over here? Nafal lefanov mikoyel akriya. The shur fell into the bar on its face because of the sound of the one that's digging there. Therefore, and chayiv, the Mishnah says, the Bala Bar, not the one that's digging. The Bala Bar is going to be chayiv for this. But the question is, ve'amai, why should the Bala Bar be chayiv? Neime, why shouldn't we say, koire garam lei, that the one that's digging and banging, he's the one that caused this shur to fall in? Mm-hmm. Not the Bala Bar should not be chayiv for this. So this is based also on what we learned in the Gemara before, on Daf Nun Beis, where the Gemara made a distinction between a shur pikeach and a shur cher, a shur tevekatan. When you have a shur pikeach, a shur that is able to understand where it's going on its level, of a shur, so the bala bar is usually potter for a shur that just walks straight into a bar. Why? Because he has to. The shur is expected to understand and know where he's going. But if it's a shur which is a cher, a shur tevekatan, so then the bala bar is going to be chayiv, because such a kind of a bar just walks and doesn't see where he's going b'chlal. So over here, though, why did this shur fall into the bar? We're talking even about a shur pikeach. It fell into the bar because it got startled by the person that was banging inside and made this noise, and that caused it to stumble into the bar. Right? So even the shur pikeach, that's what the Mishnah is saying. Even the shur pikeach, the bala bar is going to be chayiv. So that's what the Gemara is asking. Why should the bala bar be chayiv if his bar would not cause this shur pikeach to fall in? What caused the shur pikeach to fall in? Just the banging inside the bar of this worker there. The worker is not the owner of the bar, he's someone else. He's working there, he's a hired worker, and he's doing the work in the bar. He's the one that wasn't responsible, and he caused this shur to fall in. So now what's the Gemara really asking? So here Rashi explains another important point. What the Gemara is asking is not that the one that is banging should be chayiv as opposed to the bala bar. What the Gemara is really saying, they should both be potter. The one that's banging there is potter because he's just a gaidim. The bar was there already before. He didn't dig the bar. He's just doing work in the bar. His sound startles the animal, which is a pikeach, and causes it to fall in. So he's potter. The one that's banging there is potter because he's just a gaidim. Right? And the bala bar should also be potter, because the shur that fell in is a pikeach, and that's not something he's responsible for. If not for the fact that this person that was banging there was banging, then the shur wouldn't have fallen. So they should both be potter. So why is the Mishnah saying that the Baal Habayr is chayiv? That is the Gemara's question. So the Gemara answers, Amar Rav Shimi Barashi, Haomani Rab Nosson. What it says here in the Mishnah, that the Baal Habayr is chayiv, follows the opinion of Rab Nosson. The Amar, Rab Nosson said, Baal Habayr Hezeke Ka'ovid. The Baal Habayr, the one that dug this bar, and that's where the shur fell in, and that's where it died. He's the one that does the damage, and therefore, even though there was someone else that also caused this damage here, like in our case, besides the fact that you dug this bar, and that's where the shur actually fell in and died, there's someone else that also participated in causing this damage, which is the person that's banging there. But nevertheless, if you can't get paid from the other person that caused the damage, which is the one that's digging here, why? Because as I mentioned, the one that's digging there is just a grama. So the one that pays here is the bala bar. The bar is where the shur died, so the bala bar is going to have to pay the full damages for what happened here. So this is based on the opinion of Rab Nosson. Okay, now to understand better exactly what was Rab Nosson's opinion and where Rab Nosson said this and how it applies back to our case, so the Gemara brings the case of Rab Nosson with all the details about this. Let's see.
Excuse me. So it says first the person who was doing the smashing, he's responsible. If he can't do it, then the owner has to pay.
Right. So over here, that person doesn't have to pay. So the Baal Habayr is the one that pays. Mm-hmm. So where did Rab Nosson say this halacha? The Tanya, so we learned in the Braisa as follows. Shoir shedochaf es chaveri lebar. You have one ox that's walking along the road, another ox comes along and pushes this ox into a bar, into a pit. Baal Asher chayiv. So the Tana Kama here says it's only the Baal Asher that pushed this shur into the pit that's going to be chayiv for whatever damages happened to the shur. Balabar potter. The balabar where it fell into is going to be potter. Because the balabar says, look, my bar over here wouldn't cause this damage. You have a shar, which is a pikeach, which is walking here, and it would be careful. It wouldn't walk into this bar. The other shar came and directly mamish pushed it. He's the one that did the damage. He pushed it into the bar, so he's going to be chayiv totally. The balabar is totally potter. However, Rab Nosson says, no, we split the payment of these damages. Bala shar mishalem mechze. The bala shar pays half. Balabar mishalem mechze. And the balabar pays half. If not for the shar pushing, he would not be damaged. If not for the bird being here and it falling in and getting hurt or die there, then it wouldn't happen with the bird either. So each one pays half. Now the Gemara brings, but there's another braisa where it said that the payment is split between the balashayr and the balabar differently. But in a braisa we learned that Rab Nosson said about this case, balabar that is mishalem gimel chalakim. The balabar pays 3/4. Balashayr revia, and the balashayr pays only 1/4. So what's the story here? Do we split the payment half and half, or is it split 3/4 and 1/4? Says the Gemara, loy kasha. There's no contradiction. Ha betam. Over here in this braisa where it says that you split it 3/4 and 1/4, why is the balashayr only paying 1/4? It's because he's a tam. So a tam would only pay half. So over here, since he pays only half of the damages, so he pays only 1/4. And ha b'muad. In the Braisa, where it said that Rab Nosson says that the balashar pays half and the balabar pays half, that's in a case with the animal, the shar that pushed is a muad, so usually you would have to pay nezek shalem, and here he's paying half, so he pays. The balashar pays half of the payment, and the balabar pays half of the payment. That's the pshat in these two Braisas. Okay, but now the Gemara comes back here though to explain the second Braisa where it says that the balashar pays 1/4 and the balabar pays 3/4. This is still not understood. Regarding this braisa that says that we split the payment by the time in this way, 1/4 and 3/4, my kasavar. What does Rab Nosson hold over here? Now, so what the Gemara is going to explain over here, just before I read it inside, the Gemara is basically going to say when you have two different things that cause the damage, you have the shar that causes the damage and the bar that causes the damage. So Rab Nosson's opinion is they're both responsible, but there's two ways how to look at this. One way how to look at this is that we consider the balashar to be a full responsible party. He fully caused the damage, and the balabar is also considered to be a full responsible party because just the pushing of the shar had in it the power to kill this shar. Or just the bar being there also, if it would fall in, has the power to kill the shar that falls in. They both have the full power to kill completely with what they did or with what happened. So therefore they both did a full damage. If two do a full damage to one shar, so then what we end up doing is we split it. That's one way how to look at it. Another way how to look at it is each one did half a damage. The shar and the bar participated in this damage. The shar pushes into the bar. So we say that since the damage ended up happening from both together, the shar did half of the damage and the bar did half of the damage. Those are the two ways how to look at it. So the Gemara explains. So over here regarding this case, when we distribute the payment 1/4 for the bala shayr and 3/4 for the bala bar, why do we say this? My kesavar, what does Rab Nosson hold? If his opinion is high kula zekavid, v'high kula zekavid, when both the shayr and the bar participated in this damage, really each one did the full damage. So therefore, if so, the halacha over here should be high mishalem palga. The bala shayr should have to pay half. Yes, he's a tam, and the payment of a tam is chatzi nezek, but he did the full damage. So he should have to pay that full payment of chatzi nezek, and then the high mishalem palga, the remaining, which the bala shayr does not pay. So the bala bayr should have to pay the other chatzi nezek, even though the bala bayr also did the full damage. But because half was already paid, we're not going to pay more than what the damage was. So the bala bayr pays the remaining chatzi nezek. So even over here by the tam, the payment should also be distributed equally, half and half. If Rab Nosson holds high palga zekovid, v'high palga zekovid, that really when the shayr and the bayr participate in causing the damage for this shayr that fell in there, by the shayr pushing it. So the way we view this is that each one did only half of the damage. So if so, the halacha should be that bala bayr mishalem palga, the bala shayr should have to pay half because he only did half of the damage. So usually he would pay full damages, but over here he should only have to pay half. Ubala shayr revia. And the balashayr, which only did half of the damage, so usually he pays half. Over here, she pay half of that, which is 1/4. And then the other quarter, mafsid, the nizik is going to lose. Right? Since we're talking about a shirt tam, so the shirt tam in this case, whenever a shirt tam damages, the nizik loses out half. So over here, the shirt tam is participated in this damage. So a quarter is he doesn't have to pay, and the nizik should lose out. Why are we making a distinction over here between the bala boy and the bala shirt? The bala boy pays 3/4, and the bala shirt pays only a quarter. How does this make sense? So Omar Rava, so the Gemara here gives two pshatim for this. One pshat is Omar Rava said Rab Nosson dainu. So first he says, don't doubt that Rab Nosson, what he said is eisgehalten. Makes sense, because Rab Nosson is a judge, and he goes down, he analyzes the depth of a halacha, and he paskins the way it should be. And therefore he says the pshat is as follows: Lo'ilam kasovar. Really, Rab Nosson holds Hai kula zekovid v'hai kula zekovid. When the boyer and the shir both participate in the damage, each one is doing the damage fully. So your question is l'shalom hai palge v'hai palge, that the bala shir should pay half and the bala boyer should pay half. So for this, Rab Nosson will explain to you that's not fair. Mishum da amale bala shir le bala boyer. The bala shir says to the bala boyer, shut v'soi mai ahanali. If I'm ending up paying half, I'm a tam. And I always pay half for the damages. If in this case, I'm still paying half, so then the fact that there's a shutvis, that there's a partnership here in the cause of this damage, that just like I caused the damage fully, you also caused the damage fully, how does that in any way help me? True, they both caused the damage fully, but two people caused the damage fully. So the very fact that there's someone else that caused the damage fully, just like I did, so then there should be part of the payment that's taken off from me. So therefore, why should I pay the full thing? That's why he only pays a quarter. Okay, now there's other Rishonim here that add into the Gemara, because it's not the full explanation yet, because it doesn't really fully explain over here why he pays a quarter, why he pays 3/4. If you look over here on the side of the Gemara, there's others that add over here that the first point that you have to read in the Gemara is Tamusoi Mayahanali. What he says to him is that if I end up paying half, so the fact that I'm a tam, how does that help me? Mayahanali. The Kamashal was Palge Niske. So Ella Tamusoi V'Shutusoi Mayahanasli. So the Gemara then says, no. The Gemara says 2 points over here. First of all, he doesn't pay the full damages because he's only a tam. So he only pays half. And then the second point is, besides the fact that he's a tam, there's also a shuttif over here. And therefore, he only pays a quarter. You have to have both of these points together, that he's a tam, and there's a shuttif to explain why he pays only a quarter. Okay, this is one hasbir that Rava said.
So why is he paying 3/4?
Huh?
So why is he paying 3/4?
The other person, the Bala Boyer, he did the full damages. They both did the full damages, right? No, but by the Bala Boyer, the fact that it's a tam doesn't make any difference. But the Bala Boyer is really chayiv the entire damage, right? So the fact that the other person is he's a tam and there's a shutuf over here, so he ends up paying a quarter. Another pshat Rava said, and this is the pshat that Rava said that's actually relevant to explaining what's the connection to the case that we spoke about before, as I'll explain. So he says as follows: La'olam kisavar. Really, Rab Nosson holds high palga zekovid v'high palga zekovid. That the Bala Shor and the Bala Boyer, when they participate in this damage, each one only did half of the damage. With the kakashilach. So your question was: so if so, Bala Boyer mishalim palga, the Bala Boyer that only did half of the damage should pay half. Or Bala Boyer mishalim Bala Shor, that is mishalim revia. The Bala Shor should pay half of what he usually pays, which is a quarter. And the other quarter, the nizik should lose out. The answer is because over here, mishum the amalei bal hashor lebal haboyer, because the owner of the shor. And when the Gemara here says bal hashor, it doesn't refer to the bal hashor which was mazik. It's referring to the bal hashor that got damaged. The bal hashor that got damaged will say to the bal haboyer, "You're the main responsible party because ano turoi bibirach hashkachte. When I found my shor dead, where did I find my shor dead? In your pit. At ketalte, you're the one that killed it. Whatever I can get paid from the shor that pushed it into the boyer, I'll get paid from him. But what I cannot get paid from him, I'm going to get paid from you. In other words, Rab Nosson holds the opposite of the svara of the Rabbanon. The Rabbanon say that the shor is the main responsible party because he's the one that caused the damage. He's the one that started. He pushed him in. So he's chayiv completely alone. Rab Nosson holds sort of the opposite, not completely the opposite, but Rab Nosson holds that the ikar one that's responsible for the damage over here is the boyer. That's where the shayr actually died, inside the bar. So therefore, he's the one that has to mainly pay. So Hanami Rab Nassan says there was someone else that participated in this damage as well, because the shayr pushed it into the bar. So therefore, the Bala shayr of the Nizik says, whatever I can get paid from the shayr, I'll get paid from him. So here, in this case, the shayr is a tam, so I could only get a quarter payment of him. So whatever remainder there is of the payment, the balabar is going to be responsible because the main damage is happening through the balabar. That's the second pshat that Rav said. Now it's this pshat that is the explanation for the case that we had in the Mishnah regarding the bair and the person that's digging inside the bair, that's banging, that's making the sound, that's startling this shirt to fall in. So in such a case, who caused the damage? So over here, according to Rab Nassan, the Bala Bair is still the main responsible party, because that's where the shur was found dead, inside the Bair. The one that's digging caused this shur pikeach to fall in. True, he caused it, but he's only a grama. That kaira didn't push directly, like the shur in our case. He's only a grama. So the one that's digging and made the noise is a grama, and he's potter. If the one that's digging is potter, so since the shur was found dead inside the Bair, so the Bala shur will say to the Bala Bair, this is where my shur was found dead. You're the main responsible party, and he's going to collect the entire payment from the Bala Bair. That's the explanation for our Mishnah. Rava says another halacha.
Pushing the share is not a grama?
No, pushing the share is mamish directly. That's the hezek. Mamish, you did the share, did it directly and pushed it into the bar.
So in other words, if it wasn't the bar there, he would be injured too.
He wouldn't. No. Well, based on what the Gemara said before, you have to say that he would be. Yeah, when the Gemara, he would be. Yeah, yeah. Even if it wouldn't be a bar there, the damage happened in such a oifen that either way, whether there's a bar there or not, he would have been injured. The Mefarshim discussed that.
Not killed.
I don't know. The Mefarshim discussed that. Okay, Omar Rava said another case that's similar to this machlekes of Rab Nassan and Rabbi and Rabbanan, that is. Heniach Evan al Pia Bair. So there was a bair here, and you placed a rock by the opening of the bair. Uba sharv niskal ba. So the shar comes along and it trips now on this rock here, and then v'nafal be'bair. Because of this, it tripped and it fell into the bair. So now again, we're talking about a shar pikeach. Usually a shar pikeach doesn't fall into a bair; it walks around. But over here, there was a rock near the bair, so it tripped and then it ended up falling into the bair. So over here, who's going to be responsible? Says the Gemara. This is the same thing that we said before. The same argument between Rab Nassan and Rabbanon. Just like when you have a shur that pushes into a bar, so the Rabbanon say the Bala shur is the main one that's responsible, and Rab Nassan says no, it's the Bala bar that's the main one responsible. So the same thing over here. So Rab Nassan is going to say that it's the Bala bar responsible, and the Rabbanon is going to say the Bala Evan, the one that placed that rock there, is going to be responsible. It's the same exact thing. It's just the difference between an Evan or a shur. So the Gemara says, Pshita, isn't this obvious that it's the same thing? Mao, the Tamus, the Gemara says, no, that putting a rock there is not the same to a shur pushing into the bar. Why? I would think to say as follows. Over there, when there's a shur that pushed another shur into a bar, so the Bala shur says to the Bala shur that pushed in, Ilav bira didi, turidida chavakatole. If not for my bar, your shur, which gores and pushes, so just the pushing itself would be enough to kill this shur. This relates back to the question that you just asked. Even without the bird being here, your shur gave a good zet to this other shur, that itself would have killed him. So therefore, now that it pushed and it ended up falling into the bird, and it's the impact of the bird that ended up killing him, but still the Bala shur should also be responsible because you pushed him in such a way that it could have died in any ways. But over here, when there's just a rock that he put down, so now there's one that put down this rock could say, Bala Evan la Bala Bar, that is, the Bala Evan says to the Bala Bar, if not for the fact that your pit is dog over here, what would my rock do? If the shur would stumble upon this rock, have a nafal, it would fall down, and it would get right back up, and it would continue walking. It's only because your bar was here that it fell, and it fell straight into the bar. So it's really only your bar that's responsible for this. Kamash Malan, that's what the chiddush over here with this halacha that Rav said is that no, the Amalei, the Bala bar could say back to the one to put that Evan there, Ilav Evan, we have enough for labira. If not for your rock over here, this bar would this shayris would never fall into the bar. It's a shayr pikeach. It would walk along its way. It would go around the bar. It's your Evan that causes it to fall into the bar. According to the Rabbanan, it's only the Bala Evan that's going to be responsible. And according to Rab Nassan, they're going to both be responsible. Another case which is related to this, the Gemara Itmar, we learned the following machlekes. When you have two that cause together a damage, shayr v'shayr psulei hamikdashin shenakchu. You have a shayr that's owned by a private person, and then you have a shayr that's psulei hamikdashin, that gored. Now shayr psulei hamikdashin. The Gemara will explain in a second what this means. A shayr that's pasul hektish. They both gored and they caused this damage. So in such a case, who's going to be chayiv for this? Now the Gemara interjects over here. According to the Marshal over here says that this is not really part of the Gemara. This comes from Rav Yehuda Goin, one of the Goinim. Taisus over here says. So my niu shayr, my niu. What is this shayr that's a psulei hamikdashin? It's hektish, which is pasul. Shayr b'chayr deloy parikle. This is a shayr which was a b'chayr, a firstborn is hektish, but it became pasul. Once it becomes pasul, you can't redeem this. What happens with a b'chayr that's pasul? The kainim eat it. They can eat the meat for this, and they're eating from hektish. Right. So this shayr that belongs to hektish. So when it gores, you're not chayiv to pay, because the Torah says shayr if it wasn't redeemed, shayr eyu, not shayr shel hektish. Right, so therefore you're going to be potter for this. So you have one shayr that gores that the hedyet, the owner, is chayiv. The other shayr that gores is psulei hamikdashim, and you're potter. So how much do you pay over here? Abaye Omar, Abaye says Mishalem Chatzi Nezek. Abaye says, so in such a case you only pay the shayr, the shayr hedyet of the regular owner. So he pays Chatzi Nezek for the damages that happen. Ravina Omar, or another girsa here is Rava Omar, Mishalem Revia Nezek. No, he only pays a quarter of the damages. Okay, so what are they arguing about? So the Gemara actually explains it's not an argument. Ha v'ha betam. Both cases we're talking about over here, both opinions, that is, are talking about the shayr that caused the damage is a tam, and a tam only pays chatzi nezek. So what is the machlekes over here? Ha kerabanan v'ha kerabnasan. The two opinions is, one is going according to the Rabbanan and one is going according to the Rabnasan. Now according to the Rabbanan, since the shayr, which is the tam that belongs to the hedyet, he's responsible to pay his part. That's it. And the fact that there's another shayr that participated in the damage as well, and that other shayr that's hektish or psulei hamikdashim, which is pasul. So the remainder of the responsibility that shayr of psulei hamikdashim does not pay does not fall upon the owner of the shayr of hedyet. He only has to pay his part. That's it, not what the other person has to pay. But Rab Nosson, as we learned before, says different. No, Rab Nosson says when you have the shayr and the boy that participated in the damage, whatever the bala shayr doesn't pay, the balabar pays. So similar over here, when you have these two oxen that cause the damage, whatever the shayr that belongs to the psulei hamikdashim does not pay, so the other shayr of the hedyet has to pay. So therefore he pays the full chatzi nezek that he has to pay as a tam. That's one pshat. Another pshat, the Gemara says that ha betam and just a few words. Iba is eime, or we could say ha v'ha kerabanan. Both opinions, Abaye, Rava, or Ravina, they're both following the opinion of the Rabbanan. Ha betam and ha b'muad. The difference is, if we're talking about a tam, so according to the Rabbanan, you pay your part, which is half. So half of chatzi nezek, you pay your quarter. That's it. And ha b'muad, and where we're talking about a muad, so then you pay only half of what you should have paid, which muad pays nezek shalem. So you pay only chatzi nezek. But you never have to pay the remainder of what the other party that caused the damage would have had to pay. And over there, in our case, he doesn't pay because it's a shayr of psulei hamikdashim. This is another case where you see over here how this machlokes of Rebbe and Rab Nosson, Rab Nosson and the Rabbanan plays out. Iked there's another version for this for what was said over here about this case, that Abaye said chatzi nezek. That in this case, when the shayr and the shayr of psulei hamikdashim caused the damage, you pay chatzi nezek. Ravina says kula nezek. No, you pay the one that owns the shayr hedyet. Only one that owns the shayr of the hedyet, he pays the full damages. So again, the Gemara says two versions how to explain this machlokes, the same as we said before. Either you could say ha v'ha b'muad. In both Abaye and Ravina are talking about the shayr that gored and damages a muad, pays nezek shalim. So ha kerabanan. The one that says that you're paying chatzi nezek is like the Rabbanan. You pay your part. You don't have to fill in the payment for what the other one is not paying. And the other one that says no, that you pay the full damages is going like Rab Nosson, that when two participate in the damage, so then you have to pay the full payment, including if the other is not paying, so you have to fill in and pay the whole thing. Or another pshat we could say over here is Hava Ha Rab Nosson. Both are following the opinion of Rab Nosson that the one that pays has to pay the full payment, including what the other is not paying. So he has to fill it in and pay. So over here, the two different statements, the two different opinions are Hab and Mu'id. When it's a Mu'id, so then you pay the full payment. And Hab Tam, if it's a Tam, so then you only pay Chatzi Nezik. That is a full payment of a Tam. Omar Rava said another halacha related to what we learned before. Now this is going to be a case where you have three that participate in the damage. And this is all following the opinion of Rab Nosson. Rab Nosson says when you have a few individuals that participate in the damage, whatever one can't pay, the other responsible party is going to end up paying it. So Rava says if you have a shayr, va'adam, shadachfu l'bayr. So now you have an ox and a person that pushed another ox into a pit. So three participated in this damage. So the Inyan is zakin when it comes to the payment of the damages of this shayr that fell in kulan chayavin. That's something that they're all going to be responsible to pay. So you divide it between all of them. Le'inyan arba dvarim. However, then there's other kinds of payment. There's payments of arba dvarim. If you push in a person and the person gets injured in the bayr, so then you have to pay besides the nezek when a person damages another person. So there's payments of tsar, ripuy, shevis, and baishas, as we learned earlier. So that kind of a payment, and also demei vuladois. If the one that was pushed in was a pregnant woman and she miscarried because of this, that's a kind of payment that is only applies to a person that pushes and causes a woman to miscarry. A shar, as we looked before in the Masechta, a shar that pushes a woman and causes her to miscarry is not going to be chayiv. So therefore, in such a case, Adam chayiv, regarding the four modes of payment, and the vladois, so that the person that causes damage will be responsible, but v'shayr a bar pater, the bala shayr and the bala bar is going to be pater for that, because those kinds of payments doesn't apply to them. So according to Rab Nosson, those kind of payments are going to go completely on the Adam. Now, inyan kaifer, if the one that fell in, the one that was pushed in, is a man that died over there, so now when you kill a person, so there's a halacha of payment of kaifer. And a shloishim shel eved, if it's an eved that was pushed in and died, so there's a knas that the Torah says you pay a set amount of 30 sloim. Who's responsible for that? Shar chayiv, only the shar is going to be chayiv for this, because both of these payments, kaifer and shloim, that's a kind of payment that the Torah says only regarding a shar. Adam u'bar peturim, but the person that also pushed in and the bar where it fell into, they're going to be patur for this, because there is no kaifer and there's no shloishim that they have to pay. Torah never says such a thing by a adam and a bar. So again, according to Rab Nosson, we put that payment on the shar, on the bala shar. Now, kalim, if there's kalim that fell in over here and then broke, or of a shar psuli al mukdashin, or if the shar that fell in is a shar of pasal hektish, and over here we're talking about pasal hektish that was redeemed after it became pasal, it was redeemed from the hektish. So over here, in such a case, who's going to be responsible for those damages? Adam v'shar chayavin, the person that pushed in and the shar that causes damages, they both are responsible for this kind of damage. But a bar pater, a bar is going to be pater. So regarding the fact that bar is pater for the kalim that got damaged here, that we know, we learned already many times that a bar is pater for kalim. But over here, the Gemara is going to focus on the second point, that the Bala Bayr is going to be pater for the Psuli HaMikdashin, for this share that belonged to Hektish and got pasal and got redeemed, you're going to be pater from that as well. What's the source that you're pater for this? My timer. Where did we see this? As the Gemara, because Amakra, the pasuk by the Bala Bayr that's Chayiv finishes off there and says, V'hameis yeloi, that the maze belongs to the Bala Bayr. What does this mean? B'misha meis shaloi. Only in what case are you chayiv for the damages that happened? Only in a case where you could fully keep this mace and do with it whatever you want. Yotzazeh, so that excludes this case where this shard that fell in, so it's psuli al mukdashin, so the owner of this shard can't do with it whatever he wants. Sheina meis shaloi. Because Rashi over here brings the halacha in Masechta B'chayda says a shard that belonged to Hektish and got a mum and got redeemed. Even after it gets redeemed, you can't do with it whatever you want. You can't just sell it to whoever you want. You can't give it to eat to your dog to whatever you want. In such a case, if after this shard dies, the only thing you can do with it, you can just bury it. So because you can't apply what it says on Meisi Aloi to the Bala Shor, so over there you're not chayiv on this damages by the Bala Boy. The Gemara asks on this, shall we say, the pshita leila Rava, that this is something that was obvious to Rava, that there's a special chiddush by a boy that you're not chayiv am psulei hamukdoshim. This is a shaila that Rav actually asked, and he didn't resolve it. The boy Rav asked the shaila. This share that was redeemed because it was puzzle, and it now fell into a bar. Mahu, what's going to be the halacha? Are you responsible for this? Do I say the drasha that we said before? Haiva meisi eloi means b'misha meis shaloi. They are only responsible if what got damaged, and it died, then belongs to the Baal HaShoyer and he can do with it whatever he wants. Then the Baal HaBayir is going to be responsible. That excludes this case when he cannot do with it whatever he wants. He has to bury it, so the Baal HaBayir is going to be potter. Maybe when the pasuk says by a bayir, it's coming to teach me a completely different thing. It's coming to say what it's coming to tell me is that the Baal HaShoyer has to take his dead carcass, and now we have to evaluate what is his damage after we see what value he can get out of this dead carcass. The Baal HaBayir is not going to have to pay full payment over here for this dead share, but only after we deduct the value of this nevela that he takes for himself. That's what we learn out from Vamesi Eloi, that he has to take the nevela. Hudasa. So therefore we can't learn from here this petur of psulei hamikdashin and a bar. That was the shaila of Rava. Says the Gemara, Basa the Baya, after Rava asked the shaila Hada Pashta, he actually did resolve this Ibaya. And he said that no, we learn out from here that a sharp psulei hamikdashin that falls into a bar, the Baal HaBayir is going to be potter. Says the Gemara, so this other halacha that we just brought up, Elabailim metaplim benevela, when a person's shirt dies and gets damaged. So now we say that the owner of this shire, he has to take the dead carcass. And then the one that caused the damage only pays the difference after we see what the value of this dead carcass is. Minoli, from where do we learn that out if we're not learning it out from here? Says the Gemara, Nafkele, he learns it out from a different pasuk where it says again, Men v'amesi eloi the shire. There's another pasuk where it says the same three words, V'amesi eloi, and that's by a shire that gored. By a share that gores, it also says that Vamesi Eloi, the Baal HaShoyer that got damaged, takes his dead carcass. So from there we learn out that the share that caused the damage, the mazik, only pays the difference after you see what the value of the dead carcass is. Okay, so we have 2 times this pasuk. So now the Gemara asks, if so, why are we darshaning this Vamesi Eloi in these 2 times differently? My chazis, what do you see to say? The Vamesi Eloi the shoir, when it says Vamesi Eloi by the shoir that gores and damages or kills, Mafkislei, what you learn out from there, Labaila Metaplim Benevela, comes to teach that the owner of this ox that got damaged has to take his dead carcass, and now we evaluate after that what the damage is. And but Vamesi Eloi the bayir, when it says the words Vamesi Eloi by the pit, over here you learn out something else. Mafkislei, over here you're learning out a patur. Over here you learn out Lemi Shameiz Shaloi, that the Baal HaBayir is only chayiv in a case where what fell in, the Baal HaShoyer could keep. But if it's psulei hamikdashin and he can't keep it and do with it what he wants, then the Baal HaBayir is going to be potter. Why are we darshaning this differently in these different places if it's literally the same 3 words, Vamesi Eloi? Maybe I should say the opposite, that by the shoyer that gores, and it gores the mace, and it's psulei hamikdashin, you would be potter. And maybe by the bayir I should darshan v'amesi eloi to say that you have to evaluate the value of the dead carcass. Says the Gemara, no. Mistavre, it's logical to say the way we darshan it, that petur gabi bayir, that the words v'amesi eloi by bayir is coming to say a petur if it's psulei hamikdashin. Why? Because we see over here the Torah is more lenient. Hoil upata bayis hakelim. Because I see that the Torah writes shir chamayr. Shir comes to say that it excludes kelim. So when it says the words v'amesi eloi here by bayir, it's more logical to say that it's also coming to say an exclusion that you're potter for psulei hamikdashin. But the Gemara asks on this, I'll show you that there's a leniency by the shor that course. Petur gabi shor. I should say that by shor, when it says v'amesi eloi, it's coming to say that you're potter. Why should came potter by chatzi nezek? So you see over there that the Torah says by a shor that if you gore as a tam, you only pay chatzi nezek. So maybe over there when the Torah writes v'amesi eloi, it's coming to say a petur as well. Says the Gemara, but kulin azek miyas le'ashkechan. You don't find regarding a shor that there's any time that you should be completely potter. So therefore, when it says v'amesi eloi, it's not coming to say a patur over there. Rather, there it's just coming to say that you evaluate the value of the carcass and only afterwards you pay the remainder. But v'amesi eloi that it says by the bayir is coming to say a patur, just like kalim that you completely potter.